Hi, my name is Selena DeLong, and my inquiry project was about banned books. I had the pleasure of interviewing Amy Sue Manley. She works for our Parchment School District, and Emily Whitaco. Has many jobs in our school district. So, why did I choose this? First of all, there was many reasons. I wanted to be able to have the questions and the answers for my students when they asked me questions about banned books, different personalities that were in my classroom, which are huge personalities, but to mostly have the knowledge and be able to answer the questions appropriately. When I started my research, I started with the caged birds. There was a TED talk about that, and just like any other research, I started with just researching, the key words. What I found surprised me. There was this book that was being challenged. Like what I said, I know why the caged bird sings. And what it's about is a young lady who went through a lot of trauma. She was raped, abused, and then when she had the courage to actually have her rapist convicted, he was killed by a mob. So then she wasn't even able to heal from the trauma and then the guilt. And she happens to be a black woman, so her book is being banned because of all this knowledge. This isn't to help her feel better, but to help others and recognize that it's okay to go through this. It's to educate young readers, to help them understand and explore the danger and the censorship and the silence of what young people go through. And it's sad that it has to become to this. Another offensive book that I found that is because of mice and men. Huckleberry of Finn and Dr. Seuss people find offended. This shocked me. So, and I also found out that there was reasons for these removals. A lot of them, and why are they being advocated for? Well, that is because there's mom-to-mom groups like Mom to Liberty, No Left Turn for Education. There's also this mass resistance who have all three are responsible for at least half of the books banned. Banning in the classroom, there's a Florida parental rights of the education law. They are aiming to remove the LGBTQ content in the identifications or discussion being even spoke about in the classroom. Anything that is driven by the concepts of race and gender in the classroom. The Texas government, Greg Abbott, and his lawmaker, representation of Matt Curris, he campaigned for 850 books to make kids feel safer in their classrooms. The question is who is actually feeling safer in their classroom? Again, the type of books, as I mentioned before, that are being banned are the LGBTQ, sexual manner, people of color, and titles of racism. Genderqueer, that is a book that is becoming unsettling and is challenged as well. It has illustrations of what it's like to be gay. It recognizes that new generations have no problem with being who they are. The book is not turning people gay, but they're okay with being who you are. So, one of my favorite things that I found when I was going through all the different information was this article I came upon where Burbank Unified School District, they're fighting back. These groups want certain content removed. They refuse to. They said that they're going to educate their teachers so they can answer the questions appropriately. So I had to know more. After doing all the research that I had done, it just wasn't enough. So I had the pleasure of interviewing Amy Sue Manley. She has a teaching degree and a master's in library science, as well as school media. She is our Parchment School District head librarian. Amy and I started with a casual conversation. When we sat down, I asked her one of the first questions to be simple and asked her, when did banned books actually start? She said it started back in the 80s. It was a hot topic. Only LA, American Literacy Association, decided that they needed to let people know what was happening. So in 82, they made a week about it in September. So, what are these hot topics that are being banned? Hot topics that are being banned used to be about language, violence, drinking, drugs, magic. Harry Potter, for instance, that would be the magic. People were worried about that. Are parents scared of these books to provide different information of what we believe? Because now they're more worried about immigration status and the stories that are being told about it and the LGBTQ. It comes down to generation beliefs, is what Amy told me. It comes down to what her grandparents were scared about, their parents now, and their parents are now afraid of what's going to affect their children. And it's basically the unknown. So, banning books, what can you do? So, what it is you have this social media right here. How many different ways can you find information about something? Well, it's just with a quick click of a button. So, why are we banning the books? You can just get on the news. But does the news interpret the information correctly? Amy had a personal story about that it affected her family with Haiti. However, is it affecting the ratings and what people can actually handle on TV? So there's a process, and I'm so happy that Parchment School District has a process. We have a process that Amy had implemented when she started there for banning books. She said we have to have one. And so she put into place that if you want a book banned, you first have to fill out a form. This form has to have the content, a suggestion of what you would like it to look like, where it's actually located in the book. And then that is submitted to actually Amy Sue. From there, she actually takes all public reviews that have been printed and attaches it to the complaints. That is then submitted to the committee. From there, the committee, which Amy is on but doesn't have a vote, is then looked over and reviewed. The book, however, stays on the shelf the whole time until there's a decision made. Some schools don't have some schools don't have a system. And according to my research and what Amy told me, the locations don't want to deal with it and they just remove the book. However, the books, when they are challenged, are only removed from that location where they were challenged. So again, you can go somewhere else and get the knowledge. Amy says she knows her clientele, so the books that she chooses for her school district, she makes sure that they're school appropriate and Parchment appropriate. So, how does she educate our little people? Well, like I said earlier, September, the ALA, in a week, what she does is she has a week of celebration to recognize banned books. And what the easiest way for her to help kids understand what banned books is she tells them not everybody wears the same clothes. So if you don't like a book, just put it back and find something else to read because we all read differently and that's okay. Amy says the books that are in our school curriculum are protected. They have already gone through several investigations. I mean, we're looking at books like Hatchet, The Boy with the Striped Pajamas, pilot programs, they're all protected. We have classrooms that have their own personal libraries. So those books also are just a choice, which means that they're not required for you to read like a part of the school curriculum, so you can just put it back. Libraries, yeah, are a choice as well and are not required reading. However, there are some books that teachers do require for your research. But if you're not happy with it, put it back. There's justice, legislative elections, and mom-to-mom groups. Who knew that band-to-band books would be so political? Actually, mom-to-mom groups are actually financially supported by politicians. Amy let me know that their names and their surnames that sound a little nicer are ones that actually do the most damage. And these states, they're all like-minded. These states are talking about taking charge of the book or changing it and banning it. Most of them are Republican. However, political houses are changing all the time. Amy mentioned windows, mirrors, and doors. I found this fascinating. What it means is to see others, see yourself and your reflection, and then see yourself and others' experiences. Seeing myself in these stories and the other stories is hard because I'm not Native American, but books are finally being published by who is somebody of an author who is one. So we could do all the research that we want, Amy said, but to actually experience it and then write it down, that's so much more. I wasn't finished. I needed more information. So I went and saw Emily Whitaco. She's our Parchment School District. So I needed more information. I was fired up by now. I needed to have a little different opinion, more than just from the wonderful information that Amy had provided and some of the research that I had done. I wanted an educational reason why books are the way they are. So I asked Emily Whitaco. She works for Parchment School District as a center director for Parchment Early Learning Center. She also in special education and she is a curriculum consultant. So Emily said that she needed to do a little bit more research herself because she likes to know what's on both sides so she can have a solid opinion. And I was not expecting to know what she knew. It was amazing. She said this topic was a generational thing, that we're changing, our education is changing, and parents fear the change. The original reason was religion, language, and violence, and the current reasons is because sexuality, skin color, LGBTQ, and immigration. So there are so many ways. Quick information. Amy and Emily on the same thought for this. I thought that was pretty amazing. The truth is that she said there was no internet when we were kids. We had to read to get all our information. And then, believe it or not, we had dial up. But now you can explore whatever you want just by a click of a button. Parents and guardians are fearful what they can't control. These mom-to-mom groups, legislative political supporters, strong faith and foundation for beliefs, fear, Harry Potter and magic. These books are more popular because they're banned? Not really. It's the subjects of what people just want to know for knowledge. And banning them just brings up the height. With a click of a button, you can just find what you want. So schools, libraries, classroom libraries, she said, should we censor them? Because I asked her if should we? Should we put a permission slip on it? Should we have a censored section? And she said, it doesn't matter because they're still going to find what they want to find. And you look at education's history, it's always changing. So as I was talking to her, I had this question rumbling around in my brain about freedom because that's why people come to America, the United States. Are we taking away some of our freedom by taking away the content that you should be able to read freely? Emily's question was Emily thought for a moment and then she replied, people come to the United States for freedom. taking away their right to read is what we came here for, is one of the main reasons to be free. Everyone has the right for happiness. Everyone has the right to have free education. And this is our country's foundation. Thank you.